Dictation 5. Ready? Creative activity requires imagination and originality, which are apt to be subversive of the status. At present, those who have power dread a disturbance of the status lest their unjust privileges should be taken away. In combination with the instinct for conventionality which man shares with the other gregarious animals, those who profit by the existing order have established a system which punishes originality and starves imagination from the moment of first going to school down to the time of death and burial. The whole spirit in which education is conducted needs to be changed in order that children may be encouraged to think and feel for themselves, not to acquiesce passively in the thoughts and feelings of others. It is not rewards after the event that will produce initiative, but a certain mental atmosphere. There have been times when such an atmosphere existed. The great days of Greece and Elizabethan England may serve as examples, but in our own day, the tyranny of vast machine like organizations governed from above by men who know and care little for the lives of those whom they control is killing individuality and freedom of mind and forcing men more and more to conform to a uniform pattern. Vast organizations are an inevitable element in modern life, and it is useless to aim at their abolition as has been done by some reformers, for instance, William Morris. It is true that they make the preservation of individuality more difficult, but what is needed is a way of combining them with the greatest possible scope for individual initiative. One more important step toward this end would be to render democratic the government of every organization. At present, our legislative institutions are more or less democratic, except for the important fact that women are excluded. But our administration is still purely bureaucratic, and our economic organizations are monarchical or oligarchic. Every limited liability company is run by a small number of self appointed or co opted directors. There can be no real freedom, or democracy until the men who do the work in a business also control its management. Another measure which would do much to increase liberty would be an increase of self-government for subordinate groups, whether geographical or economic, or defined by some common belief like religious sects. A modern state is so vast and its machinery is so little understood that even when a man has a vote, he does not feel himself any effective part of the force which determines its policy, except in matters where he can act in conjunction with an exceptionally powerful group. He feels himself almost impotent, and the government remains a remote, impersonal circumstance which must be simply endured like the weather. By a share in the control of smaller bodies, a man might regain some of that sense of personal opportunity and responsibility which belonged to the citizen of a city state in ancient Greece or medieval Italy. When any group of men has a strong corporate consciousness, such as belongs, for example, to a nation or a trade or a religious body, liberty demands that it should be free to decide for itself all matters which are of great importance to the outside world. This is the basis of the universal claim for national independence, but nations are by no means the only groups which ought to have self-government for their internal concerns, and nations, like other groups, ought not to have complete liberty of action in matters which are of equal concern to foreign nations. Liberty demands self-government, but not the right to interfere with others. The greatest degree of liberty is not secured by anarchy. The reconciliation of liberty with government is a difficult problem, but it is one which any political theory must face. The essence of government is the use of force in accordance with the law to secure certain ends which the holders of power consider desirable. The coercion of an individual or a group by force is always in itself more or less harmful, but if there were no government, the result would not be an absence of force in men's relations to each other. Finished.